The theory of evolution. The theory of evolution, also known as Darwin's theory of evolution, is the scientific explanation for the process of evolution, or the changes in species over time. This theory was first proposed by naturalist Charles Darwin in his book On the Origin of Species in 1859. The theory of evolution is based on several key concepts. 1. Overproduction: more offspring are produced than can survive to adulthood. 2. Variation: individual organisms within a species show variation in traits. 3. Heredity: traits are passed from one generation to the next through genes. 4. Natural selection: some variations give organisms an advantage in surviving and reproducing, while others do not. 4. Over time, advantageous traits become more common in a population, while disadvantageous traits become less common. 5. Evolution: over many generations, the accumulation of advantageous traits leads to the development of new species. The theory of evolution is widely accepted as the explanation for the diversity of life on Earth and is supported by a wealth of evidence from many different fields of study, including paleontology, comparative anatomy, genetics, and more. There is a wealth of genetic evidence that supports the theory of evolution. This evidence comes from a variety of sources, including comparative genomics, molecular phylogenetics, and population genetics, and it provides strong support for the idea that species have evolved over time from common ancestors. One key piece of genetic evidence is the comparison of the genomes of different species. This can reveal similarities in the DNA sequences of related species, reflecting their evolutionary relationships. For example, humans and chimpanzees share more than 98% of their DNA sequence, indicating a close evolutionary relationship between the two species. Molecular phylogenetics, which involves the construction of evolutionary trees based on genetic data, provides additional evidence for the theory of evolution. These trees demonstrate the relationships between different species and support the idea that they have evolved over time from common ancestors. Population genetics provides further evidence for the theory of evolution by demonstrating how genetic changes occur over time within populations. For example, studies of the evolution of antibiotic resistance in bacteria provide clear evidence for the process of natural selection, where bacteria that are resistant to antibiotics are more likely to survive and reproduce than bacteria that are susceptible. The molecular mechanisms of evolution refer to the processes at the molecular level that drive the evolution of species over time. These mechanisms include mutation, recombination, gene regulation, and natural selection, among others. 1. Mutation. Mutation refers to changes in the DNA sequence that can result in new traits and the evolution of new species. Mutations can arise from a variety of sources, including errors during DNA replication, exposure to mutagenic agents, and other environmental factors. Some mutations can result in changes to the structure and function of proteins, leading to new traits and potentially contributing to the evolution of new species. 2. Genetic recombination, also known as genetic reshuffling, is the exchange of genetic material between different organisms which leads to production of offspring with combinations of traits that differ from those found in either parent. 3. Gene regulation. Gene regulation refers to the processes that control the expression of genes. 4. Changes in gene regulation, such as changes in DNA methylation or histone modification, can result in changes to the phenotype, or observable characteristics, of an organism, potentially contributing to the evolution of new species. 5. Genetic drift. Genetic drift refers to the random changes in the frequency of alleles, versions of a gene, in a population over time. This process can result in the loss of genetic diversity and can play a role in the evolution of species, particularly in small populations. These molecular mechanisms work together to drive the evolution of species over time, leading to the development of new traits and the evolution of new species. The study of these mechanisms provides a deeper understanding of the underlying processes that shape the diversity of life on Earth. In conclusion, the genetic evidence supporting the theory of evolution is extensive and comes from a variety of sources. This evidence provides strong support for the idea that species have evolved over time from common ancestors and helps to explain how evolutionary processes, such as natural selection and genetic drift, have shaped the diversity of life on Earth. Please subscribe and like this video. See you soon.